Hello English 345 students. Welcome to the course. My name is Mrs. Rojas and I will be working with all of you this semester. So this video is just to give you some navigation through the course, how everything is organized, and to give you an idea of what our course policies and assignments will be like. So as you can see over on the left side, we have some important links that I'd like you to know about. The course home is the landing page. That's what you see before you right now. When you scroll down just a little bit under My Announcements, you can access any announcements that I send to you. I will for sure send you an announcement every Sunday evening with any important information, reminders about assignments, extra information you might need to be successful on assignments. So you can always check here. These announcements that I send out every Sunday, I will also send through email, so be sure to check your Lander email as well as any announcements that appear here. Okay, instructor information is what we see here next, and this tells you a little bit about me, so you can see the live version of me and the photo version of me. Okay, so as I told you before, I'm Mrs. Rojas. It's much easier than trying to pronounce my entire last name, McLaughlin-Rojas. And all my contact information is there. So anytime during the semester, if you need to ask a question, if you need some help with an assignment, if something's driving you kind of crazy, be sure to send me an email. Okay? I am just an email away at any time, and I'm glad to help you with anything. And my phone number, my campus phone number is there. I won't be teaching on campus this semester, but if you do call that number, the calls will be forwarded to me, so I will be able to take phone calls if students do need to reach me that way. Office hours are virtual. When we get to the syllabus, I will point out to you what those virtual office hours are and where you'll access them. Underneath here, you'll also see a little bit about me. I'll just kind of summarize it for you. I've been teaching at Lander for the last 8 years. I'm teaching English and French. In fact, I think I'll be seeing a few of you in either French 101 or French 102 this semester, also online. So we'll be doing a lot of language study together, which of course I love because I'm definitely a language enthusiast. At Lander, I've been teaching English to international students. I've been teaching English 345 for probably the last 5 years or so, and I teach English 101 and 102. And this year beginning to teach French. I did teach both English and French at USC Upstate previous to coming to Lander. I've also taught English to French business people online. And in addition to that, I have taught English in South Korea. So I'm definitely a fan of learning about languages, learning about different cultures, and this is definitely one of my favorite classes to teach. There's just so much to learn about language. It's an enormously broad topic with many different subfields, and you're going to be learning about all of them throughout this semester. And I'm glad to be with you on that journey. Okay, so next we'll move over to course information. And here is where you can see the syllabus and the calendar of our course. I'll go ahead and open up the syllabus first. We'll cover the highlights here. Okay. And as I mentioned just a little while ago, the virtual office hours are going to be Monday and Wednesday from 2:15 to 4:15 and Fridays from 1 to 3 in Blackboard Collaborate. We can also make an appointment outside of those scheduled times as well. So over in Blackboard, you will see that there's a link here for virtual office hours. So when you click on that, it's going to take you to Blackboard Collaborate, and starting this Wednesday, I will set up some links for office hour sessions, and you'll see those there and you'll be able to connect to them. So you won't see the link now, but in a few days you will. And to do that, all you have to do is click on the link. I will be there in the session already, and all you have to do is join it, and we can discuss any questions or concerns that you have. All right, we'll go back to our course home and back to the syllabus. Okay. So the course description, as it shows us here, this course surveys ways in which language has been studied, the tools used by linguists, how speakers learn first and subsequent languages, and how language reflects social issues such as gender, power, and ethnicity. So that's just kind of scratching the surface of what we're going to learn about in English 345. As we go through the module folders and I show you how the course is organized, you're going to see there will be a wealth of topics that we're going to be learning about this semester. You should be language experts by the time you leave English 345. And here you'll see in a little more detail some of the topics that we'll be looking at. So we'll be looking at phonetics, morphology, syntax, how language changes over time, the history and dialects of English, language acquisition, how we teach language, what is correct or incorrect language. And I mean that in kind of a tongue-in-cheek sort of way. Linguists don't really judge language for its correctness. They don't make prescriptive rules about how language should be. They just listen to it, observe it, and they describe it. And that's an important distinction that you'll learn about in this course. As far as texts and materials, lucky you, I have provided you with everything you need in Blackboard. You do not need to buy any books. I think linguistics is such a topic that is freely available online through open source materials, interactive materials. There's really nothing that we need to buy. We have everything at our disposal, and you'll see that when you start to explore the module folders. Your grade will be comprised of the following components. So there will be weekly homework and reading quizzes. So weekly homework assignments and reading quizzes. And since that's going to be the bulk of what you complete throughout the semester, that's 50% of your grade. So each week in the different module folders that we'll go through, you'll have a series of assignments, generally 3 to 4 assignments that you'll complete, kind of mirroring what you would do if you were attending a 3-day-a-week class. So most weeks will have 3 assignments per week, plus maybe an assignment related to your individual research project. Some weeks you might have 2, another week you might have 4, but on average it's going to be about 3 assignments per week. You will also complete an individual research project that totals 35%. So after the first few weeks of the semester, you'll submit a proposal. Then you'll also work on an annotated bibliography of research sources. You will work on a draft of your final research project, and you'll complete a final paper. So all those steps lead to your final paper. And, it doesn't hurt to start thinking even as early as now what your research project could be for the course. And a great way to do that is to start to look through some of the module folders, look at some of the topics that you're going to be learning about in English 345, and try to think, what is a topic I'd be interested in learning more about? How can I take one of those subfields of linguistics that I'm going to be learning about this semester and make it as specific, narrow, and interesting as possible? So start thinking about it now, and don't hesitate to contact me with ideas. Even as early as this week, you could start to do that. Okay, one thing to mention about the final exam that you'll take, and the final exam is going to be basically your demonstration of the knowledge you've gained from the weekly homework assignments and reading quizzes. So you're kind of studying for the exam as you go through the semester. Rather than give you a midterm exam, which would be, I think, kind of a stressful thing to do in addition to all the assignments you're going to be doing, because there's so much to learn about language in this course. And I feel like the best way is to learn and practice throughout the semester and then demonstrate at the end. So that's the way we'll organize things. For that final exam, you will need Respondus Lockdown browser on your computer. If you already have it, great. If you don't, I will be giving more information about that as we get closer to that time. Okay, so the individual research project, as it tells you about here, you'll conduct secondary research into some issue in linguistics beyond what we cover in class, and you'll synthesize that research into an 8 to 10 page paper in APA style. If you haven't worked with APA style before, I do provide some resources for that in our Blackboard site, and I'll point those out to you when we get to them. If you're familiar with MLA style, making the leap from MLA to APA is not so difficult, really. And the reason we're using APA in this course is because linguistics is considered a cognitive science or a social science. And generally, social sciences use APA style. In fact, some linguists even use another style, which is one specifically for the field of linguistics, but APA covers all the social sciences, so we'll be good with that. Okay, and for extra credit projects, if you want to add an extra 10 percentage points to your homework and reading quiz average, excluding the final exam, you can opt to either do a 1,000 word review of a book related to some aspect of linguistics, and there's a folder in Blackboard specifically for extra credit projects. You'll see a list of suggested books there, and you can go and take a look at those. And the other project is a second language project, and this is basically you deciding to study a second language throughout the semester on your own time. It can be a language that you've studied before. It can be a completely unusual, obscure language that is not studied often. It could be Icelandic if that's what you wanted it to be. The choice is really yours. It could be Klingon. I believe that's even available in Duolingo. So that's totally an option. You can make a proposal to me. So I'll point that out to you too, all the details of the second language project when we get to that section in Blackboard. The grading scale for the course will be the standard one that you see here, 90 to 100A, etc. Virtual attendance. Yes, this is a virtual course. It's asynchronous, so we're not going to have live sessions that you're expected to attend every week, but I will be monitoring your attendance, and I'm expecting that you'll be logging in at least twice per week. If you're logging in less than that, I think your chances of success just won't be as high. So to be successful, you really need to be connecting to the class at least twice per week, and more than that, to be honest, to be truly successful. And each unit that we study in English 345 leads us to the next one. So phonetics is the first subfield that we'll study, and without the knowledge of phonetics, we can't really be as successful in morphology, which is the one that comes after. And you'll come to understand this as we work through the modules. As far as the reading quizzes, these are part of the homework reading quizzes grade. Any reading quizzes that are only, they're kind of self-graded quizzes, they have like multiple choice matching true false. They're set up so that you can take them as many times as you want before the due date, because the goal is learning, not just to get everything right the first time. That will be the final exam. But for the reading quizzes, I want you to learn from them. So take them 10 times if you need to until you get the grade you want. For any quizzes that have questions that I need to give feedback to, like a short answer kind of question, you can request a retake on any one of those tests or quizzes if you want to retake them. So you can request a retake up to 1 week after taking those kinds of quizzes if you would like to boost your score. Okay, late policy for assignments. You can read it in more detail. I'll summarize it here. I expect you to submit assignments on time, of course. That's better for everybody. But you do have some flexibility with a grade penalty. If you submit an assignment 1 day past the due date, it goes down 1 letter grade. If you submit it 2 days past the due date, it goes down 2 letter grades. And after 2 days, I don't accept it anymore. It gets a 0. And each student is also entitled to request a single 1-day extension during the semester. So let's say you have your research proposal is due on a Monday, but you know you just won't make it by then. So you can request to submit it on Tuesday as long as you let me know 24 hours ahead of time, and you won't get any penalty on that. But you can only request that 1 time during the semester. And I know in previous classes I've taught, that policy has been very helpful to many students. So don't forget about it. It's better to request your extension and don't lose any points on your assignment. If you forget about doing that, then you'll be penalized, or you run the risk of getting a 0. So it's always good to take advantage of that. As far as other policies, they're kind of the standard ones you see in any syllabus. I'll let you read those on your own. And at the end of our syllabus, you see our course calendar. So it's organized by week, by topics covered, the assignments you'll complete, and those assignments are numbered so they're easy to keep track of. It lets you know which module folder we'll be working in and the date that those assignments are due. So this week, we of course are in week 1. We will be introducing the course as we're doing right now. You'll learn about linguistics as a science, how it fits into the social sciences as its own field, and some fundamental concepts of this field of study. And you might be thinking, if you're an English major, and many of you are probably English majors, you might be thinking, well, I've only studied literature before, or how to write essays, and all those are, of course, really important if you're an English major. But you're going to find that this class is very different from any English class you've ever taken before. And you're going to be learning about language as a science. Sometimes in some weeks, you're going to feel like you're studying biology or anatomy or almost math or physics or something. It can get pretty technical sometimes, especially in the first half of the semester. But when you come to the end of this journey, you're really going to understand how all of these different pieces of language study are going to make you better as a communicator, better as a writer, better as a language learner, just a better understanding of your own language. And I think you'll really come to appreciate that by the end of the semester. So this is really the place you'll want to look at the beginning of each week when we go back into Blackboard, into the course information area. You'll see I've also linked the course calendar in its own spot here, so you can easily just download that and look at it on its own. You don't have to open up the whole syllabus. So make sure you come here at the beginning of each week when I'm sending out my weekly announcement, so you know it's coming up and you know how many assignments you're going to be working on. Okay, the next place we'll head to is course modules. So here you'll see I've organized all of our subfields into different modules of study. In total, we have 7 modules. The first folder you see here is course documents, and this is just kind of a good sort of one-stop shop for all the different documents you might need for assignments throughout the semester. I have also, I will be linking the syllabus here, so you can get it here as well. There are rubrics for different assignments you'll be completing. So for the research proposal you do, that will be, just to give you a heads up, that is coming in week 5. So you've got the first month or so of the course to get kind of a handle on things, but by week 5, you're going to be making a proposal to me about which topic you want to research in more depth. There's also a library research guide that's going to help you when it comes time to start collecting sources on your topic and about how to look for those in the library. The library has actually created a study guide or a research guide just for this course, and it's really helpful. It collects all your research sources all into one place, so you can kind of visit one page to be able to kickstart your research. I've also got a collection of APA materials here, so if you're not familiar with this, there's a template for formatting a paper in APA style. There's also a template for formatting an annotated bibliography in APA style, so this should really help you out. You can use those to set up your documents and get yourself set up in the right way. I've also included a link here to the Purdue OWL Guide to APA Style, which is also a really great resource. You'll also see rubrics here for the annotated bibliography and for the final research project. Okay, now on to the modules themselves. So the first module is Thinking Like a Linguist. And for each of the modules you'll see I'll also include kind of a description of what you'll expect to achieve in that module, what you'll learn from the activities that we'll complete in that module. So the first module is really laying the foundation for the study of linguistics. We need that before we can go on to anything else. Module 2 will be about phonetics, so how humans produce speech, the mechanism of that, the anatomy of that. So like I said, you're going to feel like you're in a biology or anatomy class. Then we'll move from sounds, the sounds we produced, to combining those sounds to form words and the pieces of words. From there, we'll take words and move on to sentences. So how do we piece together sentences? What is the structure of a sentence in English or maybe another language? From there, we'll move on to meaning and context. So what role does meaning and the context in which we use language, or what role does that play in how we use it? And then we'll go on to language variation and change, which kind of also includes the area of sociolinguistics, social attitudes toward language, how language changes, how we use languages in different settings to reflect different identities, how languages become endangered. They cease to exist sometimes. And we'll wrap up our course with first and second language acquisition. So how children learn their first language and how both children and adults acquire a second language. Okay, and beyond that, you'll see there's also an extra credit project folder that has all the information that I mentioned to you in the syllabus about extra credit. We'll go back to Module 1 for now, since that's the one you need to know about for this week. Okay. In each of the module folders, I will include a video tour of that folder, and that's going to explain to you all the different assignments that you have to do for each week. And that's where you'll come after you look at the course calendar for that week, after you've seen the announcement for that week. You'll come here and watch a brief video tour that explains to you how to do all the different assignments. For this week, we'll use our course orientation video to do that, so I'm going to walk you through those assignments now. So I'll post the video for the course orientation here. You can just scroll to the end of it and you'll be able to see the explanation of those assignments. I also include in every module folder a reminder of the due dates and the assignments that need to be completed by those due dates. And all assignments are submitted by 11:59 p.m. on that due date. So for this week, you have assignments 1.1 through 1.5. Or no, sorry about that. You have 1.1, 1.2, and 1.3. 6 would be a lot to do in 1 week, wouldn't it? So you have 3 assignments this week and then 3 assignments next week. So your first assignment this week is to introduce yourselves. So tell me a little bit about yourself, your major, why you're taking English 345. Is it for your major or minor, or maybe you're just doing it as an elective? Why are you here, basically? How do you feel about doing this course in an online format? When you hear the term linguistics, what comes to your mind? What do you expect to be learning about? And just reply to 2 of your classmates. Excuse me, too much talking, I guess. And feel free to include a short video, introduction, or a photo as I did in my post. I've also put a post in the discussion forum. When you click here, it takes you directly to the forum. You can see my introduction there. Just create a new thread and introduce yourself, and then reply to others in the class. Okay, and in addition to that, assignment 1.2 is Linguistics is Science, and for this you'll be reading a section of a chapter in an open source online textbook called Essentials of Linguistics that we'll use throughout the semester. So you'll read that section. There is a video embedded into that. The author of the book does some really wonderful videos explaining the different concepts. So I think you'll really appreciate how she teaches you about linguistics. And then once you're finished with that, you're going to do your first reading quiz. So you'll click here and just begin the quiz. This one, I believe, is just a multiple choice, true, false, matching kind of quiz. So this one you can repeat as many times as you like until you get the score that you're satisfied with. And then the third assignment you'll do is an article called 9 Ideas About Language. So this is a reading and discussion assignment. So you'll read the article by Harvey Daniels. The article's a little bit older, but it's still a really good one. It really gives you a great overview of the thinking of modern linguistics, how linguists approach the study of language, the basic foundational concepts that you need to move on to the subfields that we'll study in the coming weeks. So what you'll do after you read the article is you'll write a short written summary of about 100. Oh, let me go backtrack just a little bit. So what you're going to do is, because there are 9 different concepts explained in this article. You'll choose one of the 9 ideas from the article that is new for you or that you found the most interesting. And then you'll share your new knowledge with your classmates in one of the following ways in the discussion forum. And it's totally up to you which way you choose. So you could write a short written summary of about 150 to 200 words posted in the forum. You could create a short PowerPoint presentation with 2 to 3 slides explaining the main points of your chosen idea. Or you could even make a 1 to 2 minute video or audio recording explaining your chosen idea in your own words. That could be in the form of a screencast like I'm doing right now. You could record a video on your phone and post it there. And so I'm going to let you choose the forum that you want to do this in. After you post one of those in the forum, then I'll ask you to post a written reply to a minimum of 2 classmates and point out what you learned from your classmates and how it's changed what you know or believe about language. So you have those 3 assignments to work on this week. And underneath you'll see some tips that might help you with online discussions. So we'll finish it up right there for this week. I think that's given you plenty of information to digest about getting started in English 345. So just to sum up, don't forget to look at course information, to check out the syllabus and the course calendar. Make sure you're starting here every week. The course home, so you can check the announcements each week to see what information I'm sending to you to get started. And I look forward to getting to know all of you in the first discussion forum and to seeing your first couple of assignments that lay the foundation for a successful semester. So any questions, concerns that you have, please let me know through email, and virtual office hours will begin this week starting on Wednesday. Have a great week.